Hello, this is Dr. James Rovira, and this is the introductory lecture for week 3 of 1101, which is synthesis writing. Now, what I recommend you do is that you pull up the PowerPoint and watch or listen to the video along with the PowerPoint, because I'm going to be following that as like an outline, and um, and then and then filling in details that aren't in the PowerPoint. So go ahead and open it up, take a minute, and then go to the first screen, which should be synthesis writing. And of course, the PowerPoint is in Blackboard. It's, I think, the third item in the week 3 module. Let's see. Yeah, it's the third item in the week 3 module. So click on that. And of course, the same thing is true. Oh, wait, it's not the third item. Wait. The third item is a link, which is great. Um, you want to read that link. The second item is the PowerPoint. That's what I'm going to be following along. So, of course, the first item in week 3 is introduction. So read the introduction, and this video is embedded in the introduction. The second part, the second item is a PowerPoint. So watch this video along with that PowerPoint. The third item is a link to synthesis writing by Dr. Sandra Jameson. She was one of my graduate instructors, and she ran the composition program at Drew University, where I received my PhD. It goes into a lot more detail. I'm just introducing you to some basic ideas here. And then the fourth item is a quiz on the first 3 items. So, of course, read the introduction, listen to a video, watch the PowerPoint, and then read that link on synthesis writing, and then take the quiz. And then after that, you're going to start your work on synthesis writing. The synthesis writing unit is going to take about 2 or 3 weeks. And the first thing you're going to do, because synthesis writing covers multiple sources, you're going to have to select a topic in your readings. And you're going to end this week's work with picking a topic, picking at least 3 readings, and discussing it on a discussion forum. So we're gonna kind of work through this slowly. The second stage will be summarizing your readings. So you'll write, just like you wrote one summary of Orwell in week 1, you're going to write at least 3 summaries in week 4 for each of the sources you're going to synthesize together. And then you're going to plan your synthesis paper in the form of an outline based on those 3 readings. And then once you've done that at the end of week 4 and in week 5, you're going to write your synthesis paper, which will be longer. It'll be longer than your summary paper. So I'm assuming by now you should have the PowerPoint open. So, and the PowerPoint's short. If you get behind, it's only 6 slides. I'm just introducing you to synthesis writing. So you should be looking at a blue cover page for the PowerPoint that says synthesis writing. And the second screen, so proceed to the second screen now. What is synthesis writing? All right, so remember in week 1, I had you introduce you to the course. I had you all introduce yourselves to each other, and I introduced you to APA style, which we will review this week in the discussion forum. And then I asked you to summarize George Orwell's. We'll read George Orwell's Politics and the English Language. And then I asked you to write a summary of it. Okay? And you should have completed that summary by Sunday of week 2. Okay? So week 2 was synthesis writing. Week 1 was the introduction to the course. I'm sorry. Week 2 is summary writing. Week 1 was the introduction to the course. And And I want you to think of synthesis writing, at least the synthesis writing that we're going to do in this course, as kind of a summary of a bunch of sources at once. Okay? So a summary is an objective report of a single source. I'm asking you to objectively, in an unbiased way, tell me what George Orwell says in the essay Politics and the English Language. I'm not telling you not to have an opinion, and I'm not telling you your opinion isn't important. I'm just saying that while you are summarizing, you set aside your opinions for the moment and you just objectively report the source. And it's important to be able to do that in order for you to earn credibility with your readers. Okay? So if you want your readers to trust you and believe that you know what you're talking about, they need to see that you've done the reading and understood the reading. So synthesis writing, the synthesis writing I'm going to have you do here, when you read the link, you'll see there are other kinds, is an objective report about multiple sources at once. Okay? So suppose you had to give an objective report about 10 sources in 3 pages. Okay? I'm not making this example up. Okay? All of my graduate courses required, they may have broken it down differently, but basically 2 pages of writing every week. So 14-week course, that's like 28 pages of writing, plus a 25-page research paper at the end of the course. So we did about 50 pages of writing over the course of the semester for every graduate course. And we take 3 at a time if we're going full time. And the most common thing we were asked to do at the beginning of this research paper was to review the last 10 years of criticism, scholarship about the topic of our papers in about 3 pages. Okay? All right. So I wrote my Shakespeare paper on Othello, the play Othello. So I had to read everything published about the play Othello in the last 10 years prior to writing that paper, and then summarize it all in 3 pages. Okay, so this is like, hundreds of pages of reading. I don't remember how many articles had been published in the previous 10 years, but it was probably, at least a couple hundred pages of reading. If the typical article is 15 to 25 pages, and if I read maybe 10 of them, that's a couple hundred pages of reading. And, you got to ask yourself, how would I write 15 individual summaries in 3 pages? Okay? That's a ridiculous way to go about that task. You don't summarize 200 pages covering 10 different articles in 3 pages by writing individual summaries. It just doesn't work. So what I had to do was, and I'm aware I'm displaying a number of verbal tics. I'm not working with a script beyond this PowerPoint, which is an outline, and I'm not rehearsing this. This is as close to the real classroom as you're going to get, verbal tics and all. I'm not interested in presenting a polished presentation. Okay. That's not what you get in most real classrooms. I prefer this to be more conversational. Anyways, digressions and all, and the word and all. Anyways, what I did was, instead of writing 10 individual summaries or 15 individual summaries and try to make them all fit in 3 pages, I divided all the criticism up into different topics. I noticed they all fell into, over that 10-year period, I mean, the entire history of Shakespeare, scholarship on Shakespeare's Othello is much broader than this. But in that 10-year period, I noticed there were articles that took psychoanalytic approaches to Shakespeare's Othello. One article I remember to this day, because it was that good, was an early 20th century psychoanalyst named Melanie Klein describing how breastfeeding experiences form personalities characteristics. And she described a certain type of bad breastfeeding experience, and that perfectly fit the character of Iago and the results, of course, the character of Iago in Othello. It was amazing to me. So there were psychoanalytic approaches. There were semiotic approaches. The field of semiotics is the study of signs, not meaning like street signs, but things that represent other things, which could be anything. It could be a hand gesture, it could be a word, it could be an image, it could be a street sign, it could be a number of things. So there were approaches to Shakespeare's Othello that took that approach. Then there is a whole body of criticism that I thought was really interesting, written by actors and directors. That was so cool. You need to understand that people who are really committed to acting Shakespeare, they study, they read, and a performance by an actor is a complex work of interpretation. Okay, the ones that really are engaged in their craft, that's what they're doing. So to be a good actor, you can't be dumb. You can't. And these actors and directors, they really had some intelligent things to say about Shakespeare's Othello. They helped me understand it better. And I'm trying to remember. It seemed like there was a fourth main category. I probably should have gone back and looked at the paper. But I'll just cover those three for now. So what I did was I divided all the criticism up by topic. Okay, I said these articles approach Shakespeare from a semiotic perspective. These articles approach Shakespeare from a psychoanalytic perspective, like Freudian psychology. And these articles were written by actors and directors, interpreting it from a performance perspective. Okay, so I divided all the criticism up into three main topics, and I discussed samplings of what the criticism said under each topic. That's exactly what I want you to do with your synthesis paper for this class. Now you're only required to read three sources. You can read more. What I want you to do is pick one topic. Let's move on to the next slide. I want you to pick one topic to write your synthesis paper about. Pick something you're interested in. There's a link to the Kirkman Reader, which is an open source collection of essays collected by Valencia College faculty. It's a great resource. Everything there is free. If the link is broken, just pick something else. Sometimes things expire. Pick a big topic. Kind of look through the links, the articles in that under that topic, and pick at least three that you want to synthesize together in your own synthesis paper about that topic. Okay, so if you're writing about, say, racism in America, I tell you what, let me go to. I'm going to have to go away from my PowerPoint for right now. Hold on a minute. No, I don't. Let's see, what can I do here? Yeah, I'll just go away from the PowerPoint. I'm going to go onto the page that lists the topics. So if you go into the week 3 unit, you see item number 5, picking your topic and readings. You click on that, and you're going to see a list of the different topics that are identified in the Kirkman Reader. Humans and their animals, identity, language and writing, love and relationships, modern challenges, school life, sport, and times and places. So if you click on humans and their animals, you'll see a number of, quite a few actually. You'll see articles, links to articles titled Bad Dog, Beware the Beagle, A Box of Puppies, Crazy Cat Ladies, Deep Intellect, and that one's about an octopus. Even the gorillas and bears in our zoos are hooked on Prozac. Four-legged reason to keep it together. Another dog story. Hurricane Katrina and pets. How I fell for cats. How I found love and companionship online, namely by comparing Match.com and PetFinder.org. So, I can tell you how this has ended without having read it. She had better luck with the pet. Anyways, so no, I do not want to pet your dog. There's a lot of cat and a lot of dog articles here, okay? So if you want to write about either cats or dogs, and then there's other things, exotic pets, winter animals, youth pet euthanasia, films that actually harmed animals, that's kind of horrifying. Um, so I mean, there's a lot of material here to work for if you want to write about, say, humans and their animals. Um, and then the same is true. There's probably at least 15 articles. Identity, language and writing, love and relationships, and on and on. So I want you to pick one of those topics in week 3 when you get to item number 5, and remember the best way to work through this class is go into the course, click on home, and then go down to the week 3 module, start with number 1, and then go through each item one at a time in order: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Don't just jump into the quiz and try to take it without doing the readings. Doing the reading is where you actually learn. Okay, so take the time, make that investment in yourself. Okay, so you're going to do the same thing I did with my Othello paper. You're going to pick a topic, and you're going to pick writings related to that topic, and then you're going to present the content of those writings in a topical way. You're not going to summarize the 3 writings consecutively. I do not want you to do that. I want you to divide your big topic up into subtopics and talk about all 3 of your sources under each subtopic, describing the different range of ideas and opinions presented by your sources in each subtopic. Okay? So to give you an example, let's say you were going to write a research paper on Hurricane Katrina. All right, so you might go around and start reading a bunch of articles about Hurricane Katrina, and you might, from there, say, okay, what I'm reading looks like, first, a general description of the hurricane, second, description of the damage. So like a general description of the hurricane might describe its strength, its course, the dates that it ran, everything it impacted, and so on. The damage it caused when it hit the New Orleans area, federal and state government responses to it, the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, and things like that. So you might have a number of articles, some that only talk about one of those items, some that talk about 2 or 3, but you would present the material that you found on Hurricane Katrina by organizing into those topics. This is like a kind of background synthesis. It gives background information about your topic. And most academic papers require, and this is on the next slide, some kind of background synthesis. This would be slide 3, I believe. Yeah. So if you're in the social sciences, in a field that uses the social sciences, you'll have a very structured academic paper you need to write. And one of the first parts is a review of the literature, which is an overview of the scholarship already published about the topic of your paper. Okay, that's a kind of background synthesis. You're providing an overview of the literature, just like I did for my Othello paper. If you're writing for more general audiences, of course, the background synthesis might just be the kind of thing you need to know as you're getting into this topic. Like, let's say you want to buy a new turntable for your vinyl collection. What do you need to know when you're looking at a turntable? That's a kind of synthesis of information about turntables. Okay, so go on to slide 4. So how do you write a synthesis paper? First thing you do is pick a topic. The second thing you do is select sources related to your topic. So that's number 1 here. Read multiple sources related to your topic. Then the next thing you do is identify common topics, themes, or ideas among your sources. And then you organize your paper on the basis of those common topics. So you describe, you're focused on, within each topic, your presentation of the material. It's like your bird's eye view of the topic under discussion from your reading of multiple sources, which again would be at least 3. So you describe the content of each topic, naming and quoting different sources occasionally to illustrate your points within the body of your paper, but you do not completely summarize any one source. And within each subtopic, okay, so if you're reading 4 or 5 or 6 articles about dogs under humans and their animals, Look for agreements and disagreements within the subtopics to present a range of opinion. Okay? So you want to completely present the ideas, within the body of your paper and within your limited reading for now. Okay? But you want to, if there's a range of ideas, you want to present the entire range of ideas. Okay? So the next slide, slide 5, I just gave the Hurricane Katrina example. And basically taking multiple sources and combining them together into a single presentation that's based on your overview of all the material, that's the work of synthesis. Okay? All right. So when we get to the last slide, that's kind of an outline of what you're going to be doing as you work through the synthesis paper, which is what I just described. Okay. So all you need to know for this week is that you're going to be introducing yourself to the idea of synthesis writing. That's the first thing you're going to do. You're going to, and that's like the first 4 items in this week. It's the introduction, it's this PowerPoint, it's the link to synthesis writing, and then the quiz. And then you're going to select a topic in the Kirkman Reader, and you're going to pick at least 3 sources related to that topic. And you can go outside the Kirkman Reader, but I want you to email me, okay? And tell me why. And then you're going to explain your choices in a discussion forum post at the end of the week, say posted by Friday, and I think you'll post 2 responses to peers by Sunday. And I want you to read your peers' post for ideas. Look for people maybe who picked the same topic you did, and look at what sources they picked and why, and see if that gives you ideas for your own synthesis paper. All right? So that's what we're doing in week 3 in 1101. And if you have any questions, of course, email me. Or we can work out a phone call. I'm always happy to talk on the phone. But you email me first so we can schedule a time. All right? Take care, and I look forward to reading your work this week. And remember, your final draft of your summary paper is due before midnight Sunday, meaning Sunday of week 2. Have a good day.